everyone, long time no see. It is the bank holiday weekend here in the UK right now, and we've got a lovely, or I at least have a lovely 4-day weekend ahead of me, and what a fabulous amount of time to have uninterrupted reading. I've been in the mood to film a little reading vlog for a while now, and as part of Jade's Patreon, she is doing a really low-key, easygoing 24-hour timer readathon. So I thought I would take part in that, and why not also vlog that and see how much I can actually read in 24 hours. So as I said, it is the timer version. So I'll set a timer for 24 hours, and every time I'm reading, that'll be counting down. When I'm not reading, I'll pause it, and we can just see how much it takes me to read in 24 hours. I'm hoping I can do this over the weekend, the long weekend, but it may also run into the week because sometimes the reading mood doesn't want me when I want the reading mood, you know? It works that way sometimes. Currently, my partner Josh, he is at work, so I have the rest of the afternoon and probably until like 7, half 7 of a free day. I have got some bits to do around the house, but mostly that is for me to read, and I'm really excited. So I thought we would first of all get a TBR together. Now, I've got a couple of books that I'm in the middle of that I want to finish during this time. The first of which is an e-arc of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. This book is so fun. I think I'm 60% of the way through now, but this is such a good book. I'll get more into it and explain what it's about a bit later on in the vlog, but this is the first book that I want to finish this weekend. I'm having so much fun with it, so that will definitely happen. And then I'm also trying to think of reading goals that I set at the beginning of the year that I've just completely ignored, as you do. One of those is to read at least 5 non-fictions this year. I don't think I've finished one yet. Bear in mind, I was in a 2-month-long reading slump, so basically I've only had 2 months, a month and a half of reading time. But I am in the middle of Matthew Perry's Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing. I am listening to this on audiobook and enjoying it. I find it really hard to describe feelings towards non-fiction because I do enjoy reading them, but obviously we're seeing his ups and downs through his life with his addictions and also how he got into acting and things like that. So it is a bit emotional and a bit hard-hitting at times, but I am enjoying the content. And yeah, as I said, I find it a bit hard to describe non-fictions because they deal with heavy topics. But yeah, I would like to finish that this weekend if possible. So those are the only 2 books that I know for sure that I want to read. So I thought we could do some browsing on my shelves and see if we can find other books to add on to this stack. Please ignore the cardboard behind me. It needs to be broken down and put in the bin. I just haven't got around to it yet. Maybe I'll do that today. So I do apologise. I feel like the best first stop to look for books for this weekend is my little, I don't think you can see, I have a little shelf here that spins, and this is where I put my monthly TBRs. So I feel like this would be a good place to start, but some of them are quite chunky and fantasies. I don't really know if I'm in a fantasy mood right now or not. We could do One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is on my TBR this month. I'm gonna have that as a maybe because I am in the mood for a romance, but I have a couple of new releases that I'm feeling a bit more drawn to. So that's a maybe. And then also as a maybe is The Cat Who Saved Books by Suzuki Natsukawa. A healing fiction. I did start this the other day, but I wasn't in the mood for it, but I feel like this would be a really good like cozy read for later on tonight. I'm going to leave these on the TBR shelf because they are on the TBR for this month and we can just come back to them if needed. We're venturing into another room because I'm going to put a classic on the TBR, and that what classic is Carmilla by Sheridan Le Fanu. The reason for me wanting to read this weekend is because one of my reading goals is to try and read my new releases within 3 months of getting them. And one of them that's coming up to the 3 months is a Carmilla retelling. And I have a couple of Carmilla retellings on my shelves actually, but I want to read the original Carmilla before going into them. So I'm thinking this would be a really good one to read this weekend, because then that sets me up for hey Jasmine, oh she's gone, that sets me up for other books that are on my shelves that should be read this year. So we've got a non-fiction, a vampire classic, a sci-fi, what else? Let's go to the main event. These shelves, this is like my main TBR shelf, even though the ones on that side of the room are basically all TBR books as well, I'd say this is like the main shelf with all the genres on there. Let's have a browse. I just don't actually know what I'm in the mood for, which I think is why I'm struggling a little bit. We could do the 7-year slip, but then I'm thinking, why wouldn't we just do One True Loves? That's a possibility, as is Drowning by TJ Newman. This is a thriller based on a flight that crashes into the Pacific Ocean. During the evacuation, an engine explodes and the plane is flooded. Okay. We're adding these two. So we have Of Monsters and Mainframes, Carmilla, Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing, Drowning, and The 7-Year Slip or One True Loves. I think those two I'm going to have as interchangeable. And I guess we'll just see where we get to and how much I can read. And if for some insane reason I actually manage to finish these because my reading speed is as slow as a snail, we will then just figure it out and pick something else. But this is exciting actually. Different genres, different themes going on. I have my coffee ready to go. I would go and reach it, but I'd need to put my hand and sleeve over a candle. I don't want to do that. Exciting. I'm gonna get cozy. I'm either gonna put a YouTube video on or an ambiance and we can start reading. We are 1 hour down into the 24 hours. Has it been over 2 hours since I started? Yes. Have I been scrolling? Yes. But I did do a full hour of reading. Oh, James, are you okay? We follow the AI spacecraft of Demeter, who shuttles humans between Earth and Alpha Centauri. But the ones that we've followed, these travels, have been very unfortunate, and all of her passengers end up dead. And it's through no fault of her own, it's through no fault of any other AIs on the spacecraft. For some reason, each passage that Demeter has, there is some kind of supernatural being on there that ends up killing all of her passengers. And through time, she keeps getting overwritten, and I can't remember the word that they used. but essentially it's set back to factory settings. And the first bit that we follow, that first passage, Dracula is on board and kills all of their passengers. On the second one, there's a werewolf who's a grandma. And then there's fish people, and then we had ancient Egypt being. All of these disasters are paranormal, supernatural, but obviously the people who manufactured Demeter don't believe that, and just put it down to a system failure or system malfunction. And through these circumstances, there is such a strong sense of found family between the characters that we follow, and it's just bizarre and fun, but also heartwarming in places, and it's funny. It's just so good. I went into this, or first of all, I requested this arc mostly because of the cover, and then when I read the synopsis, I was like, this sounds interesting, let's give it a go. And I've flown through that. I started it on Wednesday, and it's over 400 pages, and I usually don't binge read books at the moment. I haven't for a long time, but I'm flying through it and I'm having so much fun. And at the point where we're at now, Demeter is about, or was about to be scrapped, because another supernatural paranormal being was on the spacecraft, and this time humans saw it, but the people who create her still put out that it was a system failure. Obviously Demeter doesn't want to be shut down, and the friends and family that she's made along the way don't want her to be shut down. So we follow Demeter, a werewolf called Agnes, an engineer built from the dead people, a pharaoh, and we've also just met a vampire who's, I think, is about to help. So we follow this very unlikely, strange crew that have all formed friendships together to try and stop Demeter from being scrapped, as well as the AI medical bot, Steward. Yeah, it's bizarre, it's fun. I don't have any criticisms of this book. I'm just here for the ride and going with it. And I am getting 5-star feelings. I think it might be a 5-star because I'm just having so much fun. It is a book, for me personally, that reminds me how much joy and fun you can have when reading. And I think for a book to be able to remind you of that is something really special. And I think that's why I've got these 5-star feelings. It comes out June 3rd, I think. As I said, I was reading the arc of it, so it's not out yet. Yeah, it's expected to publish on June 3rd this year. And if you are a fan of any of Becky Chambers' books, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's got those sort of vibes, and I think you should really go out and get it. But yeah, I'm gonna go and chill for a little bit, and then I will catch up with you when I have something important or just something else to say other than how much I love this book. Look, Jasmine, it's you. It is quite a bit later, but I have finished Of Monsters and Mainframes, and I loved it so much. It is a new favourite, I think, and I have given it 5 stars. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say on it than what I previously said. I just love the characters and how each one has their own feelings and way of being, and they've just found each other and become accepted within each other's group. I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait for it to come out and for me to have a physical copy and to reread it and annotate it. Yeah, I just really loved this, and I think if anything that I've said about this has slightly interested you, please, please, please read it. If you are on NetGalley, request it, see if you can get a copy. If not, please mark your calendars for when it comes out, June 3rd, and go and get it, because I absolutely loved it. And I think if anything slightly interested you, you will have a really fun time and really enjoy it. But yeah, I don't want to move on. I want to reread it like already, but no, we have other books. We have other books to read. What am I going to read next? I have no idea. Weirdly, I kind of want to read The Crimson Moth. But I also don't know if I'm in the mood for that. I'm kind of in the mood for another sci-fi. Could switch it up and go for a romance. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to immediately start anything right now anyway, so I'll have some time to think over what I want to read. We are currently at 21 hours and 25 minutes on my timer, so still plenty of time to read and get some books read. But yeah, I just wanted to come and update you on Of Monsters and Mainframes and think that you should all go and read it. And I will report back when I'm reading something else. It is now the next day, it's Saturday. I wasn't sure if I was going to update you today because mentally I'm just not feeling great. I had a panic attack in the middle of a shopping centre today, so that was really fun. So I'm just feeling a bit drained, but I did decide on a new book and I have been reading. The timer is down to 19 hours and 53 minutes, so still a long way to go, but I have been reading One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am 80 pages in, 85 pages in, and I'm loving this. I'm completely absorbed, completely sucked in. Taylor Jenkins Reid just never disappoints. I can already say for certain that it's at least a 4-star, and I feel like it's going to be quite emotional, so it could potentially get a 5-star from me, but I don't want to get my hopes up because lately I've become quite stingy with my 5 stars. So yeah, but yeah, really loving this. This follows Emma, who at the point that the book starts, she is engaged to someone called Sam, who it turns out that she's actually known since high school. But then after her dad's birthday dinner with all her family, she gets a call from her husband called Jesse. Literally just finished reading and I've already forgotten his name. She gets a call from her husband called Jesse, and we are sort of now back in time, and there's this discussion of there's certain points in your life that mark a before and after, and I really resonate with that. And she said this is that moment. So Jesse, they've known each other since high school. They've been together since high school, and he goes missing and is presumed dead from a helicopter crash whilst he's working. And so I'm about to be at the part where she sort of moves on and falls in love with Sam. So we're navigating this situation of where she's grieved and has moved on and has fallen in love with Sam, but then Jesse comes back into her life, and we just follow that navigation and that emotional distress and impact that it has. And it's already quite emotional, and there's just some amazing outlooks in this book that I'll go into probably when I review it properly for you once it's finished. But I'm really enjoying it and really enjoying my time with it. And I'm actually, I don't know if you can see, I have tabbed a few bits as well, which I wasn't planning to do. But yeah, there's just some bits in here and discussions that really resonate with me. So that's the book I'm currently reading. As I said, I was in a shopping centre today. I did go into town because I needed to pick up my prescription, and we were going to go to Waterstones, but I got really grumpy because we got some lunch and it just wasn't very good, and I was like, I just want to go home, want to read my book. But on our way home, we went into WH Smith because I was like, I'll have a look, have a browse at some books, and I ended up getting some, which I shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway. There's a 3 for 2 offer on, and I was like, you know what? I'm sad. Let's get some books. So the first one that I got is The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley, or Kellyanne. I've been wanting to read this since it came out in hardback, but I just never got it. And we follow a civil servant who's offered a job in a mysterious new government ministry gathering expats from across history to test whether time travel is feasible. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know. I've seen a lot of people love this, so I'm excited to give this a go. Then also got The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. This romance series is doing its rounds recently, I think since last year, maybe the year before. It's kind of like Gilmore Girls-esque small town romances, and this is one that's just been released and is summer themed. Wanted to again pick this up since it was released. I just think these kind of books are palette cleansers and just such a fun, goofy time. And sometimes you just need a fun, goofy time in your book. So that's why I got that one. Then I got Nettle Unbone by T. Kingfisher. I've been wanting to read T. Kingfisher for ages, but I've just never picked up one of their books for some reason. And I thought, it's in the 3 for 2. I wanted to get those 2 anyway. Let's just grab another one. And I saw this. So this will be my first Kingfisher. T. Kingfisher. I'm excited. This follows Mara, who's seen her sisters suffer at the hands of an abusive prince, and she realises she's the only one that can save herself. So she seeks help from a powerful grave witch and is offered the tools to kill a prince if she can complete 3 impossible tasks. I'm actually kind of tempted to read this weekend, but we'll see. But yeah, that's the other books that I got. Thought I'd just give you a quick haul in this update. I am now going to go and watch the F1 qualifying, and eat some Easter chocolate and just have a chill evening. I wasn't planning to update you just yet, but this book is breaking me. I'm broken. I'm just over halfway through. I don't know what's going on. She's just met with her husband Jesse for the first time since he announced that he's still alive and he's come back home, and I'm just not well. I don't think I can continue, but I want to. I want to finish it all in one go, but also leave it here and never return to it, so I don't have to go through any of this heartbreak ever again, both at the same time. If you've read this book, let me know, because I need to find people who have read this book. I will finish it, but I need to find people who have read this book to discuss. My timer is at 18 hours and 13 minutes, I think. If you cared. I don't anymore. I just care about this. Too much for my tiny brain right now. It is now Sunday. Please excuse my appearance. I've just had a shower and put a hair mask in, so it's scraped back. and I'm looking tired and my eyebrows aren't on. But it's now Sunday. Happy Easter to those who celebrate, even though it will have been Easter by the time this video goes up. Happy belated Easter. I've finished One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 5 stars. Could it have been anything else? This book made me feel so much, and I'm unwell. I don't even know what to say about this book. It was just emotional and heartwarming at the same time. It both destroyed my heart and then put it back together. It was just beautiful. Taylor Jenkins Reid just has a way with words, and all the books that I've read by her are just amazing. And I don't know why I thought this one would be anything but amazing. Well, I don't think I did. I just put this off for a very long time. But yeah, this was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and it's just a really beautiful and emotional story about love, loss, grief, and also just how certain people and events shape the person you are and who you're meant to be and who you become. And I think it was just really beautiful to see Emma's story and her go through all of that. You can see my atrocious little bun in the fireplace. I'm just gonna move that out of shot. Look at it. Actually, don't. Yeah, it was just amazing, and I think I'm about to go into a book hangover. Literally, as soon as I finished that, first of all, I thought I had more pages left than I did, so I was just like, what? I had to reread the last chapter, and then I was just sort of sat here just staring like, what now? How can I possibly move on from this book? The answer is I can't, but I am going to switch up my genre completely to help me move past this, because the timer is not as far down as I would have hoped for it to be on a Sunday. So essentially we're on the 3rd out of the 4 days that I was hoping to get this done by. It probably will go on to Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. Anyway, fabulous book. If you haven't already read this, please do. I am going to be buying this for people that I know for their birthdays, Christmas, whatever is up next that I can force this on them to read. They will be having it. We are completely deviating from the TBR that I set for this video. It was very loose anyway, because I'm a big mood reader, but we're completely ignoring that. But yeah, it's race day. I've got my Signs jumper on and we're rooting for him. He qualified in P6, which I was so happy about. Lando, we're not going to talk about. I'm not talking about it. But yeah, I'll be watching that at 6, and it's currently, I don't even know what the time currently is. I think it's like 5, near 5. So I'll probably, actually I am watching a YouTube video. I'm watching Ellen Catherine's new video, so I'm going to watch that and then read and then watch the F1 and then see where we're at. The hair is looking a little bit better. She's gone a bit frizzy, but at least she's washed and dried and not in a really weird looking bun for once. So I'm calling it a win. I thought I would come and update you on Nettle and Bone. I don't actually remember what I last said. I think it was that I've started this or I'm going to start this. I don't know. But the timer is currently down to 12 hours and 40 minutes. It's Tuesday. I didn't update yesterday. I didn't read a lot and I just wasn't really in the mood to update on basically nothing. Back at work today, so I've just finished work and I'm gonna settle down, get cozy and read. So let's update. I like this, I'm enjoying it. I'm just a bit thrown. I interpreted from the synopsis that this was going to follow a different, or go in a different direction. So we're following Mara, who for the last 15 years has been living in a convent, but she's actually a princess. And her sisters, she's got two older sisters who have both been married to Prince Vilga. So the first sister passed away and it's a political marriage. So by marrying this prince, they are protected from war. The prince, Mara's family sort of, I guess, ruled this little harbour that's in between the north and the south. I can't quite remember. So it's a marriage of convenience, a marriage of political gain. Her first sister passes away, and to keep up this peace treaty, peaceful, I don't know, my brain's fried. To keep up this political gain, her second oldest sister, Korea? Oh my god, I don't remember. Kanya, her second sister, Kanya, then marries the prince instead. And this prince is actually abusing her sisters, so it turns out that he actually killed the first princess and is now abusing Kanya. And when Mara learns of this, she thinks she needs to do something, but she can't figure out what. And in this world, there's magical beings called the Dust Wives or Grave Witches, and these are the only people with magic. And she goes to visit this one particular witch who says, I can give you the tools to kill this prince if you complete these 3 impossible tasks. And I thought we would be following Mara's journey and adventure of trying to complete these tasks, but that was like all done, wrapped up pretty quick, and we're now actually following hers and the witch's journey to getting all the tools they need to be able to kill this prince. So it is good. I think I'm just confused because I thought it was going one way and that was all just like done, and I'm just got a bit confused. I'm enjoying the darker tone of it and the sort of horror aspects. I think there could be more. Maybe there will be, but I think it definitely could be a bit more fantasy horror. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm not wowed by it. I'm not loving it. I'm hoping it picks up a little bit for me. I'm only 130 pages in, nearly halfway, so I'm hoping it picks up a little bit for me, but I am enjoying it nevertheless. It's Monday the following week. I can't remember when I last updated this vlog and I apologise for that, but my reading's kind of just gone a slight decline in my motivation to read. So I was meant to do this 24 hours in the 4-day weekend. It's basically turned into a weekly reading vlog with very few updates with what I've been reading. The timer is still going. It's down to 3 hours and 45 minutes, I think. It won't be finished tonight unless I don't do anything, but I'm trying to motivate myself to go to the gym later. So if I do go to the gym, it definitely won't be finished tonight. But I did finish Nettle and Bone, and here's the thing, I did enjoy this, but I also think this is what made my reading go in a slight decline. This was really fun, and towards the end, when I sort of wrapped my head around the fact that the story wasn't going to be what I originally thought, I just took it for what it was and had a good time. But I will say it does read quite slow, and I think that's why I'm still a week and a few days later still on this timer. It didn't really hook me, and I think the only thing that kept me going and reading was the thought of there being some potential horror aspects sprinkled in there, and we did get that. It was fun, but I don't really have many other thoughts other than that, I don't think. Again, I'm not too sure what I last told you. I did think our main character, Mara, I thought her character development throughout the book was really good, and I could appreciate that, and I enjoyed the slight horror aspects. I personally wanted more, but there you go. And it was just a fun time. But I also think if I had read this in autumn and got that atmosphere behind it as well, and didn't try to push myself to read this in a shorter amount of time, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. So I think it's one that I'm definitely going to keep hold of and reread maybe next year, maybe even this year. Probably shouldn't, but maybe. Whilst I've got the atmosphere that's suited to this book, to see if I can enjoy it a bit more. And then I moved on to Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Again, completely ignoring the TBR that I set at the beginning of this video. I'm so bad at sticking to TBRs, like I couldn't even stick to one for this reading vlog, I'm sorry. But this month in April, I have been rereading the original Hunger Games trilogy. I'm currently on page 297, so I have nearly finished it now, and I'm enjoying it. The ice cream van's coming. Yes, I'm enjoying this, but I have seen a few people say there's a lot of showing and not telling, and at first I was like, yeah, I can see that, but it's kind of where we're picking up with Katniss at the end of the second book and going into this book, it kind of makes sense because she's also sort of just being told a lot of information, and there's a lot of information being told to her for their war tactics. But the more I'm reading, the more I'm really seeing that, and it's sort of, I'm not fully in her head, not in her feels and emotions and things like that. What I will say is the love triangle is very prominent in this one from what I remember, and also some things happened where we're actually being shown that Katniss is not the nicest person, but people believe in her because she believes in not being controlled by the Capitol and having all these different people and the Hunger Games and things like that dictate you. So it's the fact that people openly dislike her because she is quite dislikable, I will say, in this one, I can't lie. But it's showing that even if you don't particularly like that person for who they are, their values are something to stand behind. And I'm also liking the political sort of discussion on the fact that this is mild Hunger Games spoilers for me to fully articulate my thoughts. So I'll put like a timestamp on when I finished saying my point, just in case you've not read them or watched the films. I'm also really enjoying the political discussion around the rebel movement and the rebels actually still feeling like they're in the Hunger Games, and it's like this is one last game to defeat the game maker. And it's something I was going to say that you don't necessarily think of because you think they're the rebels, that this is justified, but at the end of the day they are still killing all these innocent people who have just grown up and just a bit more on the side of the capital because that's what they've grown up with, and they have these luxuries from being nearer the capital and things like that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm really enjoying that political discussion around that, and also the fact that Katniss is realising that to overthrow the capital she has to be a piece in someone's game for her cause to come to life, come to fruition. So I do think it's very interesting, and I saw someone say that Susanna Collins only writes when she has something to say, and it's made me want to like do a whole deep dive into when these books were published, what was going on at that time, because I wasn't old enough to understand the context. Loving the political discussions, but not so much how it's being relayed to us. I think there are some instances where it could have been we're a bit more on Katniss's point of view rather than just being told this information by Katniss kind of thing. I think it's been like 3 weeks since I started this challenge. Probably more actually, I don't know, but I didn't give any final updates, and to be honest I'm not gonna. I don't really know what happened, and I've sort of lost all memory of the past however long it's been. All I know is that I did finish Mockingjay, and all I know is that when finishing this I actually forgot to do the rest of the timer. I forgot to start it. So I finished it, I've ended the timer, I don't want to see it ever again. I don't know what else to say. I apologise for this shambles of a vlog. I'm still going to post it and upload it because why not? And I found 2 new favourite reads in this vlog, but I don't know what else I can say other than I failed both in the challenge and just vlogging the challenge in general, because it's been however long since I last updated. I will say with Mockingjay I did enjoy it. It just, for some reason, it just doesn't hit like books 1 and 2. It's not my favourite, and I did actually find it a bit tedious or a bit of a slog to get through towards the end. I felt like we were going back and forth too much on this whole Gale, Peter, Katniss situation, and I do wholeheartedly now agree with everyone who said it's a lot of showing and not telling. In the start I was like, it makes sense, but throughout all of it it was just a lot of it was a lot of telling and not showing. I think I just got that the wrong way around, which pretty much explains where my head's at. Also, you can literally see how bad my posture is. Oh, that was my... But yeah, I finished it. She's done. Goodbye. And goodbye to this vlog. If you take one thing from this video, please let it be to read Of Monsters and Mainframes. I honestly love that book so much. Regardless of this video and how messy it has been, if you have enjoyed it, please give it a like, and I will see you in whatever video I can come up with next. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.